Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Taylor, and this is The Devil's Advocate, the show where I take your common misconceptions about everything around you and show you another way, sometimes a better way, but oftentimes a way that you never imagined, all on your own. Case in point, the idea of selling out. Now, according to the vast majority, selling out is a horrendous action, proof of someone's lack of moral fiber and mettle. To sell out is to sacrifice that which you truly believe in for something as low and meaningless as money. It's demeaning, defiling, derogatory. But here's the thing. Selling out is the long-term goal of everybody. It's a dirty little secret that nobody ever wants to talk about, but it's true. Or at least what everyone thinks the meaning of selling out is. Oh, you don't believe me? Let's let a couple of fictional cartoon 8-year-olds spell it out then.
I'm not a sellout! What's a sellout? If you work in the entertainment business and you make money, you're a sellout.
90% of the time, this pertains to musicians, but it holds true for actors, game makers, corporate folks, directors, even lowly writers like yours truly. Once you hit a certain level of notoriety, it's no longer about passion for the business or a love of your art. Suddenly, it's just about the money. Random peeps of the internet, let me pose the question to you. Would you be any different? If somebody offered you a Scrooge McDuck pile of hypothetical money to do what you already do, love doing, and want to do for as long as humanly possible, would you just flat out refuse? And secondly, do you think that makes you better than anyone else who would accept said pile of cash?
I hate myself, yet I'm better than everyone.
From my point of view, it's absolutely selfish to ask that of anyone. Firstly, because until something like this happens directly to you, you have no idea what your answer would be. Not if we're being totally honest here. Myself, eventually, I'd love for this little web series of mine to make some cash as well. I love doing it. I love spending time taking what's in my head and making it public. And I'd love to be able to quit my day job to eventually do this full time. And secondly, who are any of us to judge someone for making a career out of something that they at least originally love doing? Sample example. You and your friends start a small little garage band. You start doing some covers of your favorite tracks, but eventually, as you get better over time and endless practice, you start coming up with your own songs. You sacrifice your social life and school grades because you've got that spark, that driving force that's gonna keep you going. You take that band out to a couple of competitions, and by some stroke of luck, a record exec signs you and your buddies on the spot. Yeah, I know, that's not usually how it happens, but for the sake of this example, that's what's gonna work.
Dollar here, dollar there. I was living in a fantasy.
So you and your buddies start out making albums, and for a little while, life is great. You get a good fan base, you churn out a couple of CDs. Okay, no, give me 1 minute. CDs are these shiny reflective plastic discs that people used to use to listen to their music before the internet set us all free from the bonds of needing to buy anything. The packages were hard to open without a knife. Before that, there were tapes and records and 8-track tapes and jumpin' Jesus Jehoshaphat, do I feel old just thinking about any of this, let alone talking about it.
Man, it's crazy as a rat in a tin shithouse is what.
Anyways, on to what I was actually talking about. Right, so you've got some success and a fan base and everything. But suddenly, you don't want to write songs about the same old things, getting drunk and lying in a pool of your own sick. You found love and want to write songs about that. You had a kid, or started a new religion, or heavy metal just doesn't appeal to you anymore and you want to start doing weird, progressive, electronic boy band jazz jigs. See, you're in a rough spot now because if you change too much, your core audience evaporates. Maybe some of them stick around, but most of them don't like the new direction. Most of those original core fans say, you've sold out, since now you aren't making music for them. You're making music for everyone else. Watered down, homogenized crap for the radio. So it doesn't matter if that's your passion now. you're stuck with making the same old crap that got you noticed in the first place. Except, no, you really can't. See, if you try and do that, then all you're doing is rehashing your glory days, milking your core audience for more money and more fame, trying to outlast every other band that's tried to do the same thing. Now you're selling out by not trying anything different and new, just treading water. Seriously, which one is the bigger sellout? The one who wants to do what he feels is right, or the guy who's doing the same thing over and over again? The answer, well, it's probably going to be different for everybody, but I say neither of them are, so long as they're doing it for themselves, as long as it's what they want to do. Any artist who does something with skill and who can make a living out of doing what they love, go for it. God bless.
Fire bad!
It's not just musicians either. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had to suffer through the same thing. He accomplished everything he could as a full-time pro wrestler and decided he wanted to try out acting since, well, that was a passion for him too. And he was just as successful there. Tooth Fairy and Doom notwithstanding. No amount of eyebrow-raising electricity could have saved either of those two pieces of monkey crap. Then again, the moment he tried to do a brief stint back in wrestling, chants of "you sold out" followed him everywhere he went. That being said, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least let you all know what I think a sellout actually is. For me, there's two kinds. One is really easy to spot. In fact, you're already in a place to find these guys. When this video is done, just go to the search bar and type in the most ludicrous, dangerous thing you can imagine, and there will be some airheaded little idiot doing exactly that. See, to me, if you're doing something just to call attention to yourself, that's selling out. It makes you no better than those has-beens on reality TV. You're literally getting paid just to exist. No work, no effort, no passion, nothing. That's selling out on the idea that we all gotta bust our asses to accomplish something out here, but you just have to exist, and somehow that's enough. And secondly, well, there's a band, and I won't name names in case they want to try and sue me too. A well-known, iconic band who went and served up a cease and desist order to a cover band using some of their songs. There's a world of difference between plagiarism and homage. When you start going after your fans, the ones that got you in a position where you're a household name, even I, a man who represents evil incarnate, can't find a good defense for that Cleveland steamer. Oh, fun fact for those playing the home game, I was listening to their music the entire time I was writing this episode, on Spotify, which I don't pay for. Suing fans, bad. Irony, glorious. Despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, I do hope I managed to shed some light into the idea of what selling out truly is. Whether it be the fact that there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to get paid for doing something that you love, or the hypocrisy from so-called fans in lashing out at their favorites for branching out and doing something different. Art, in its many forms, comes forth in a variety of different ways, and what works well at first for some may grow and change as the artists themselves also grow and change. Calling attention to yourself for attention's sake, having a camera pointed at you just because you exist, and allowing that to be your one bankable trait, that is selling out, and there's no two ways about it. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for a new piece of my mind every Wednesday, and a chance to see me and my friends fail at a video game every Sunday, both at noon Eastern. And let us know in the comments below what you think. Agree, disagree, somewhere in between. Be sure to bring up all of your points against my own, so that I may proceed to prove you wrong.
Kaboom! You've been lawyered.
But for now, in the case of selling out, the defense rests.
Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but basically it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out.